We're just waiting on the YouTube stream, Kristen. One second.
Great.
Roll
We are
the
live on
graphic.
YouTube, and we'll go any second now.
Rolling.
Welcome to Entertainment Weekly's Comic-Con Suite. I'm Sam Heifel, joined now by the team behind Rugrats, which made its big return in 2021, which actually I am like the perfect age to where like I watched Rugrats every almost 20 years, like 17 years since it was on the air. How did the idea to bring it back all come about?
I think when Brian Robbins and Ramsey Nido came back to Nickelodeon, they obviously looked at all of our franchises and said, this is one that really feels ready.
Sure.
And I think the last iteration had been All Grown Up, which was like in 2003, 5, 4,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So it was time to sort of update it for today. For
Yeah.
sure.
And everyone who watched it when they were little now has little kids. I feel like you timed it perfectly to where it's like, okay, yeah, no,
Perfect.
great. For you two, what was it like to revisit these characters?
You first.
Oh my God, it was so amazing. First of all, we all loved the show so much when we did it. So when we stopped doing it, it wasn't because, we just stopped doing it because I guess they had enough episodes. So for them to bring it back, and not only bring it back, but bring it back in today's time, which was really fun to see what like Tommy Pickles would do, and when Grandpa Lou's in yoga, and what it would be like to have a cell phone, It's just like there's nothing cooler than that.
Yeah.
And I was really excited because we were now bringing back an amazing, amazing special cartoon that everyone grew up on, and now we can share it with the children of today.
Yeah.
And the parents that grew up on the show can have a family experience with their kids. They can all watch it together.
Yeah. Well, for you, what did you feel any pressure joining this?
Yeah, a tad. It's a beloved show.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite growing up, and I grew up without cable up until probably 5th grade, and so, but my friend Michelle, she had cable, and so I would go over and we would watch Nickelodeon because at the time that's that was the channel, and it still is the channel. And so we would watch, and so when I saw Kimmy for the first time coming on the show, I was just, it makes my heart I was like, finally a show from a kid's perspective.
Sure.
And then Kimmy came on, and it was so thrilling, and still to this day one of my favorite cartoons. And so when the opportunity came to audition for it, I was so excited and even more thrilled when I found out I got the job. Yeah.
And you're a great Kimmy.
I am so curious. What do fans approach you guys? What do fans want to know from you if they see you on the street? What are their questions?
Well, what I get when the grown-up fans meet me and they find out who I am, they say, "You are my childhood. I grew up with you," and then they share with me all because a lot of them they have hard times growing up,
Sure.
and they always say how Rugrats pulled them through and made them feel like they belonged, because Rugrats is such a special family. Even if they didn't have a good family growing up in their house, they identified with the Rugrats and wanted to be connected to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the times they'll say oh my gosh, you're the voice of my childhood. And to me, that's a beautiful thing, to have affected and impacted people, especially because our episodes are so beautifully written. They're funny and they're goofy and they're big and crazy, but they also tap into such beautiful subject matters and different cultures and different religions. And, I love the everybody's included in Rugrats. We're all a big family.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, I would love to ask, when you talk about bringing it back, what were kind of the key elements that you thought we have to have this in order for it to be Rugrats?
Oh gosh. Well, the first, of course, was the dynamic of the babies, of course, because that was perfect. Although I picked up the show in '96, which had been out of production for a minute, and I had questions at the time, but we couldn't really change the show. And this was a chance to sort of say, okay, why do all the babies show up at the Pickles house? Like, what is that?
Sure, yeah.
And so part of that was sort of giving a little bit more rationale that we created a lot of connections that Chaz has grown up next door to the Pickles his whole life. And Dee Dee and Betty were college roommates, so that they're like, you know, and that a big part of the millennial experience is the family. Your friends are your, and that was a big part. And of course the social satire, which in the original, Charlotte was the executress. And you're like, wow, that feels 25 years. And the only one with a cell phone.
Right.
So it was technology was really fun. We had the idea of the kids with a smart speaker, and it opened it up. Like, and then of course Grandpa Lou was World War II, and we thought, well, he should be like Woodstock generation. He's like, so it just was
And now he's on a dating app.
now
I
he's
love that.
on a dating app. So how, you know, so that was the best part. It was just taking what worked, and then the big change we made for this iteration as well was Susie used to be able to talk to adults, so she could often foil Angelica.
Sure.
And we thought, well, if she's still nonverbal, she can be a part of every story and not necessarily be able to, you know, reveal Angelica's plots.
Yeah.
So it was that was a nice shift that gave us a lot of story engine.
Sure. And we've got a season 2.
Huge.
Where are you? Are you all making it, writing it? Where are we at?
We're about 13 episodes in.
Okay.
And, you know, animation has so many iterative steps. We've recorded all 13 of them, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not sure. But, you know, and we're starting to see some of the very first episodes of that season as well, which we'll share a tease, I think, at the panel.
Amazing. Can't wait to see it.
And
Thank
the
you.
CGI, oh my
Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. That's what you get when you bring it back in 2021, right? You get the upgrade.
For sure.
Thank you guys so much for stopping through.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And stay tuned to EW.com for all your Comic-Con needs.